We're live. When's the last time you guys have been live?
Uh, 3 months, maybe. We're on
Cool.
like a local news network. It was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. So you guys are pros. Now you're
hmm
making me nervous. No, I'm just kidding. I hope I do a good job.
Always.
Well, glad to have you guys here. We have
Yeah.
Chad and Liliana, or Liana, sorry. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. Who are these two people that we have on the podcast here today?
I will start. My name is Chad Hilweh. I am locally raised here in Oahu, in Hawaii. I'm originally from Burlington, Vermont. That's my birth state. My family brought us out here in the 90s, where we grew up and have all of our early childhood memories here. Um, Grew up outdoors. It's hard not to be outdoors here. Uh, Went to school here on the windward side of Oahu. Very country living. Um, you know, Watched my dad do a lot of engineering and commercial kitchen design growing up. So that kind of inspired me from an early age to kind of get into construction. As I progressed through high school and college, I worked for a general contractor and turned that into a career. Eventually, Leon and I decided that we should flap our own wings and start our own business. And, ever since then, since 2019, we've been working together and building this really cool business together. And I'll give her some time to share her story too, so we can kind of see how that all joins together.
Yeah. So let's see here. So I was born in California, spent most of my life in Washington State, went to college there. By profession, I am a CPA. So that was kind of my journey as a career woman, was always in accounting. I moved here 10 years ago, met Chad, and both at that time, we were both working for employers. And he said, I've always wanted to own my own business. I had been running business. So we decided, okay, well, why not work together to help launch a construction company? So we did that in 2019. Of course, as we all know, COVID hit. It was kind of a crazy time. So things were a little bit slow in the beginning because we were just launching. And then we had our first child in 2020, got married in 2021, had another baby in 2022. So we kind of kept things nice and easy for the first few years with Hilweh Builders, mostly working for aunties and uncles, a lot of referral, not a lot of marketing, very low key. It was really great. It was fantastic because we got to spend a lot of time with our two young children.
Mm-hmm.
They're now 6 and 4. But, eventually they kind of grow up. They want to go to school and do different things. So we decided maybe like 2 years ago to really start launching the business. So that's kind of how we landed with Hawaii Deck Builders, was we, through growth, kind of discovered what some of the things we were really passionate about. And deck building was definitely one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Chad's kind of like the contractor builder side. I don't actually build anything. I'm more like operations, accounting, marketing, HR.
She builds
No.
a lot.
Yeah.
All of the
Yeah,
things
that's what I was
now.
going to
Yeah.
say. You're a business builder. I mean, come on,
Business
girl.
builder. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But trust me, you do not want me like on the actual job site unless I'm
Yeah.
taking social
We'll
media.
we'll talk about roles in a bit, but
Yeah.
we can definitely get into that a little bit
Yeah.
more for sure.
Yeah. But it's I love having husband wife duos on because I mean, what I've heard so far is that you've really been able to design a business that supports the lifestyle that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I just absolutely love that you had that flexibility to spend more time with the kiddos. I have teenagers and I'm not like one of those people that's going to give a ton of advice, but if there is one thing I could say, it's always, if you can when they're younger, to spend, like not work. Like I tell women that if that's possible at all, because you never get those
Mm-hmm.
years back. So touching on my heartstrings there that you guys got to
Oh,
do
yeah.
that. But
Yeah, it was
that's
really
what business
special.
is, right? That's why
Mm-hmm.
we don't do it to create a job for ourselves. We do it to have more freedom and flexibility, and
Mm-hmm.
be more in charge of our future. So we're off to a good start here, guys. Off to a really good start with this podcast. And thanks so much for being here too, because you guys have you've showed up to the podcast several times and you've participated in the comments and stuff, and I really appreciate that. I absolutely love doing these live ones because it's just nice to know if what we're saying is resonating with people and if they're getting anything from it, to ask questions. So, good segue. Ask a question. We've got them here. They're very experienced, especially, if you are sharing a business with a loved one too. I'm sure that comes with its own challenges, right? Although I got them to sit super close together, and Chad had absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. So cute.
She's the glue in the fabric of everything.
So he's
Yeah.
super cheesy. FYI.
Well, we got to lift these ladies up, though, I think. So I appreciate it. Well, so yeah, I mean, Chad, you started young. So I'm just kind of curious if there's, anything part of those early experiences that, really influence how you do things today.
Core memories that I have from a young age is I had a trampoline in my backyard, and I wanted to run and get onto the trampoline, but I couldn't figure out what I could use to do that. So I actually built and fabricated my own springboard out of lumber. So like I used the flex of 2x lumber and a ramp to create a springboard so I could run and jump and then somersault onto the trampoline and start bouncing around. So from that age, like I felt like I had like that mental ability to shape and move and adjust things so that I can actually take it from my brain and put it into reality. I felt like that's always been like my strong suit from such a young age. So getting into building only made more sense to me because it felt more natural. I didn't have to like go against the stream as much. Even now, I can go into a job that has, not to put any downplay on any architect or engineer, but I can go into a job that has plans and I'm able to kind of pull some information out that needs clarification, RFIs, etc., and work through that. So like that basic knowledge and understanding of how things work, I think led from those early experiences. And I was allowed to have those experiences because my dad was also an entrepreneur. So he allowed us that freedom to explore and play and build and stuff. So that was always my early experiences leading up to now.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, my takeaway is that you're solution first, which is important when you're doing a custom build, right? So with that, I'm kind of curious, like, what are some of the questions you ask a homeowner when you're trying to figure out what they want?
It always comes down to like what their goals are. Like, is it aesthetics? Is it function? What is the intended long-term use for the space? You can engineer a deck to be stronger. You can add more support. You can move your joists closer together, have thicker beams, bigger posts, bigger footings. But then it, of course, increases in cost. But if cost is not a factor, then we kind of start exploring what those options are. But when it comes down to, they just want like a simple outdoor space for their children to play outside, but they don't get all muddy and dirty and stuff. Like, we kind of just give them like the basic pro quo of like, this is our standard. This is what we do normally. But some of the questions we ask specifically is like, what's your overall intended use for the space? Like, what are you going to do with the home? Is this a long-term family home? Because we want to build durable systems. We want to build things that last a lifetime. Like, we want to bring those practices back. It does require us to sell higher quality materials, because like materials have changed over time. So we incorporate a lot of that. So like, what type of materials would you like to use? Your good, better, best. So we ask them all these like really detailed questions. It kind of helps us kind of align their budget and what they want to accomplish. Very informative, very educational, because it's not necessarily all about the sale. It's more about like, let's educate them. Let's give them the tools to make a decision. And then usually at that point, they're pretty committed to move forward with us. So it works out pretty good. But do you have any input on that? Any questions you would like to ask?
I always think of like very checklist, like what, where, when, why, who. So like, what are you doing? Like, when do you want it done? Like, why do you want it done? Who's going to enjoy the space? Like, where is this happening? What is the areas that we need to be working on? Are we looking to work on just this, general area? Are you looking to do a fence as well? Are you looking to, work on the front entryway as well? So try to do like a lot more like scope clarification. I think Chad does a really good job of like figuring out what their overall goal is, so that he can like help them figure out like design and material and specifications.
So, first of all, I like to just kind of go on a rabbit. I'm like squirrel. It's just how my brain works. But
it's more my speed too.
Do you know, first of all, Deck Builder Markers does not have any clients in Hawaii. And you know that we have an Australian client before we have a Hawaiian client. So we need to get this figured out, y'all.
Yeah.
So, but what type of question or what type of goals do a lot of folks have in your area for a space?
I'd say it depends on every family, but a lot of them just want to enjoy their outdoor space, have a nice cup of coffee. They say they wake up in the morning, they want to sit out, enjoy the nice view. They want to barbecue with family. The kids want to be able to play outside. It's all about just enjoying the outdoors, like really extending the living from inside to outside. That's usually like the ideal project for us, because if it's less of a project on functionality, like I just need this safe because it's broken, but more of like maybe it's safe and unbroken, but I also really want to enjoy it. Like those are the fun projects for us, because then we're able to kind of bring that way of life to reality for them. And those are really fun, but it just depends on every family. Some people just need functionality, and we've done those too. But the really fun ones are like when somebody's like, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to like, here's my barbecue area. And like, here's where I'm going to sit with my family. Here's where my kids are going to play. We love those.
Do you guys have a lot of clients where this is their second home?
Not really. Most of them, it's their home.
Usually when people commit to buying here, that's it. They're all in. We are exploring future projects with clients that have multiple homes, whether it's here, California, here, and New York, here, and another state. We're not necessarily like an investment contractor. We don't just throw a deck on a house just because they want to sell it or somebody wants to buy it. So usually the inquiries that come in are usually those that just want quality work and they want to experience the culture that we provide. But yeah, I think, no, not so much. I think just.
But so this is interesting though, because you're saying that maybe they have other properties or something that they want you to be involved in different states. Is that what you're saying?
Hawaii is one of those states where people that buy homes here, usually some of them have homes in other states, but we don't necessarily have those people as clients. Maybe we didn't reach that part of the market yet, but.
Or they don't have more than one Hawaii home. So there's usually like they have one house in Hawaii. So we have had clients where they're like, okay, I spend maybe my summers in New York and then I spend my winters in Hawaii. Like we do have those clients, but we don't have clients who have like multiple Hawaii homes. Usually like our clients live in the home that we're going to be working on. It's not like, hey, this is like, I have multiple homes in Hawaii. Like, can you work on this one, then work on this one? If they did, I think what Chad was saying is like, it'd be more investment property. And then we find a lot of investment properties, typically like return on investment is the highest priority, right? So you're looking for more like cheap and fast. Which makes sense because you're looking for a higher ROI. And so there's a lot of people out there, I think, willing to do the work a lot cheaper. So we tend to like not do those projects. We tend to do more like homeowner resided projects.
Yeah.
Thanks for
like
clarifying.
Lifestyle, like a way, like lifestyle type of projects.
Yeah.
That's
for
cool.
sure.
Yeah. Sounds.
No, we're not going out of state.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk about Hilweh Builders a little bit more, and like the transition there into Hawaii Builders. And is Hilweh Builders still running, or are you guys all just focusing on Hawaii deck builders?
I can kind of start, and then Liana can kind of jump in. But Hilweh Builders was, the core of everything. We started it 2019. We operated everything under the business name Hilweh Builders. We still operate under the business Hilweh Builders LLC. That is the company that has the general construction license, the general contractor license. With our early beginnings, it was only me working in the field, and for us to meet more of our margins, I would perform a lot of the work, and the work that was out there was more carpentry based, decks, pergolas, just outdoor living type structures. So we initially got a lot of inquiry through Hilweh Builders for those types of work, and it kind of started to overrun a little bit of the remodeling and renovation side of it. So we branched off, started the DBA, Hawaii Deck Builders, to give it a home, to give it a space to grow. And since we did that, we've noticed that we've been getting a lot more inquiry for renovation remodeling work in the Hilweh Builders LLC, the general construction side, where we're certified aging in place specialists. We can explore that in a minute. But then the decks has a nice place to expand and grow. Do you have any?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. It's pretty simple. I mean, we really like doing both. We like remodeling, renovations. We also like deck building, but deck building, I think, it's so different. Like, it deserves its own space. And I think like anybody listening who's a deck builder would completely understand, like, we could incorporate it within Hilweh Builders, but we really wanted to give it, like Chad said, give it its own space, give it its own marketing, give it its own website, and really explore that. And we just really love that side. And it's funny because some of the remodeling and renovation projects we're doing is because we built their deck. So we built their deck and then we did their kitchen, or we built their deck, now we're going to do their bathroom. There's a couple of those already. So they kind of go together. But Hilweh Builders, we really like it to be more high touch, not quantity focused. We're not pushing to be the biggest renovator or remodeler in the state. It's really truly people who want to work with us. And those clients, probably a lot of them are going to be those that we've worked on the deck building side of things, because deck building is very carpentry based, as Chad said. And those skills really can translate over to, doing really well done remodeling and renovations. Of course, we have to subcontract, our specialty trades like plumbing and electrical. But again, not to go too off on a different, but Chad actually, most of his experience was in new home construction. So it's crazy how much building knowledge he has, but we still really love having that available to our clients. So it'll always be there. It'll always kind of be like our legacy is Hilweh Builders, but we're having a lot of fun on the deck side. I think it's pretty evident that we really love our decks and outdoor spaces.
And for anybody that's just listening and not watching the video, we've got huge smiles over here. Like, you just lit up when you said that.
And one other interesting fact I did want to point out, because I thought this is that, Oahu has a population of about 1 million people. So why do we not just do decks? Because the population is only 1 million people, right? Our opportunity really, we can't just restrict ourselves to deck building. We still have to do remodeling and renovations, because there's just not enough. We're an island versus I think I looked up the population of the greater Seattle area and the greater San Diego area. You're closer to 3 to 4 million. So your population size, and then you can go outside beyond that, right? If you really had to, it's just much larger versus here. It's so small. It really makes sense that we do keep things diversified.
Yeah. We got some comments here. So we got TC Decks, aloha.
Oh, aloha. Levi, hi.
Thanks for coming, Levi. Be Nice Home Solutions would love to hear about that aging in place certification. How does one get that?
Sure. We are members of the NHAB, the National Home Association Builders, right? And through them, did I say that right? NAHB, National Association of, there we go. National Association of Home Builders, sorry. So through them and through our local organization here, the BIA, They offer classes to study aging in place, specific renovation or like changes you can do to the home, whether it's, for example, converting a step over tub into a curbless roll-in shower for wheelchair access, walker access. So through the NAHB, they offer classes for that certification. I believe it's
It's called it's called the Certified Aging in Place Specialist. It's called CAPS. That's like the acronym for it, CAPS. And if you so NAHB typically has like district, or I don't know what you call it, like membership. So locally in Hawaii, it's called BIA. So that's for us, right? So we have a membership with the BIA. The membership through the BIA gives us membership to the NAHB. The NAHB is the one that offers the CAPS certification. So there's a couple of ways that you could do it here. You could do it in person. They do offer in-person classes, maybe only like once or twice a year, but online is probably like your best bet if you're limited on time or you want more flexibility. So I think Chad actually did the online version, and then I think we're sending one other of our team members to go get certified as well. And it's, I think, like over the course of 2 or 3 days, it's a longer day, and then you take a test at the end, and then you do have to keep up your credentials. So Chad just renewed his certification, and then there's like ongoing classes. So like he's taking a couple more, I think by the end of the year, he's going to do like one on design, like continuing, how do you design an aging in place without it looking like it's aging in place? How do you make it still feel modern and beautiful without, like necessarily thinking about like just like very basic grab bars? Like how do you make it still beautiful?
Do you guys promote that specifically on your website?
We do.
Yeah.
Nice.
We've actually through a local magazine, we've won 2 years in a row for Reader's Choice Award for aging in place. That's kind of like been like one of our strong renovation remodeling side. That's one of the things we do a lot for. We call the people here kapuna, for like the elderly people. As we all know, healthcare at later in life is actually pretty expensive. So we kind of encourage people to like live at home as long as they can. So that getting the CAPS, the Certified Aging in Place Specialist, makes sense because we have such an aging population. It's for us it makes sense, especially if we want to make sure all of our elders are safely at home.
I love it. That's really unique. Is it bad that I feel like I need that now? I'm just kidding.
No, they actually call it like older active living. I think they're trying to come up with like a new term, so it's not like aging in place where it feels like, okay, I need all these accessibility things, but like I'm active, but I'm getting older. So like I kind of want to plan. So we love doing those too, where we're like, hey, just add some blocking in your shower, like plan for the future. And just, I know like I'm just telling more stories, which hopefully is helpful, but like the reason why I think Chad got it was because he does feel passionately about like helping the local community, and like housing in Hawaii is like a big topic here because of housing affordability, housing shortages. A lot of locals have a hard time staying here. So like, I think getting educated in that area was special to him, because when he goes in, we feel like we're able to help a local family stay in their home, or we're keeping multi-generational families together, because it's not always possible to like have kids go now buy their own house, right? Like, I think we all know that it's very challenging. So if we can create a home that's more geared to be multi-generational, then there's a way for us to do it safely and know how to do it, be educated on it. Then it just only helps when we're doing those projects. So that's kind of like the background meaning behind it was he started doing some, and then he realized quickly, like, I don't know, I'm just placing the grab bar like here, like, and we're like, oh, why don't you just go get educated on this? Like, go get the certification, figure out what the measurements are, figure out what the things are, so that way when we're doing it, we're not just like guessing. We're actually spent intentional time studying it.
Yeah, and every part of the renovation that surrounds the CAPS, certified aging in place, is kind of geared towards the needs of the client. So whether they're like bound to a wheelchair, or they might be blind, or it doesn't always necessarily mean aging in place. It doesn't always mean that it's just pure somebody with disability, but it's like a combination of the two. So I mean, that's really been like a passion of ours, is really to help people stay in their homes.
So you guys just spit out like 3 amazing headlines. So if you've got any ads going, like watch this again and use those. Those are good hooks.
Thanks.
Love it. Cool. So Be Nice Home Solutions. Let us know if you have any other questions, but this is really
Nice long
interesting.
answer
I
for
didn't
you.
know much about that. So glad you brought that up. Well, I'm interested to know more about, each of, like, go into more depth about each of your roles and get to the juicy stuff, which is, what's something that, surprised you working on a business together as a married couple?
Shall I lead?
Sure.
Thank you. So, our roles, right? So me being the general contractor, I have like the essential knowledge of the building aspect of a structure, like putting components together to build a house, or a deck, or to renovate a bathroom. So like my role is really defined through our EOS, which is our employee entrepreneurial platform.
Entrepreneurial operating system.
Operating system. That's why she's the brains and the beauty of
She,
it all.
apparently she is the acronym master. So
Yes. So I'm gonna just talk about it.
It was close enough.
It was close.
Employee operating system.
Employee operating system.
Entrepreneurial operating system.
Okay. So we actually operate with that system. And
EOS.
It kind of it allows me to be the visionary and her to be the implementer. So right from the very core of everything, that's kind of like where it all starts, right? So like I come up with all the crazy ideas. I try to come up with like all the risky things that we have to do. And then she's kind of the one that's like making sure that we can kind of put those ideas and those things in motion. And then also it trickles down to our team. So I know everybody in our team has their roles and their place. So my role is really to manage like the crews, the team on the ground, the materials showing up, ordering them, making sure the counts are right. And I know she can get into her role, and just make sure it runs operationally smooth through that direction. And she's really the one that kind of is pulling the strings at the top and making sure everything is always aligned. She's like the fine-tuned part of it all. But you can explain a little bit more about your...
Yeah, I think like it's funny you asked about like the juicy part, because I think like in the beginning we definitely weren't like, you're the visionary and I'm the integrator and like these are our roles and this is how we figure it out. Like it took a really long time to get to that point. So like if you're anybody listening is just starting to like start their business with their spouse, like it takes time to really figure out how to like work in harmony together. I think the hardest part for me was like figuring out what those boundaries were. So it's like a marriage, right? There's a lot of things that we do together and like, it makes sense for us to do those things together, like sharing responsibilities. Like we both like pick up and drop off the kids. We both like help them get ready for bed. Like we both help clean up the house. Like we kind of share in a lot of responsibilities, but then there's like certain things where it's like only he does this and I do this because maybe that's my skill set and that's his skill set, or it's something I really don't want to do, but he doesn't mind doing, or something, vice versa. So it's kind of funny how like in a marriage, right? In a business, we also had to figure out what those boundaries and those roles were. So like the one that comes top of my mind is like, Chad's not allowed to send an estimate unless I look at it. And how many times has he sent an estimate without me looking at it?
Man.
Way too many times. And then I'm like, no, this is wrong. Like you forgot this. And like, you forgot the inclusions and the exclusions. And like, you didn't add in this cost, or
I learned my lesson.
Like, why was this so high? Did you just like how did you come up with this? So like we kind of,
I always feel like I have to be helping. Like in my mind, I'm like, I want to be able to help, like somehow, like I want to be able to like, but then like taking a little nibble of like the estimating, it's like sending it out. Like I was just like, no,
you cannot send an estimate. So that was like the boundary where I was like, okay, like I had to figure out like what were the super important things. So like that was one really important thing to me was like, don't send an estimate unless I look at it, because there's so many things that have to be taken into consideration. And that's really my strong suit. So
language and making sure it logistically makes sense.
Yeah. So I think like that was kind of a surprise where like a marriage, right? Like a relationship, like it takes time to kind of figure out like what things do we really do well working together on versus like what are the things that like I just do and he just does. I think he brought up EOS because once we implemented that, it was kind of like more obvious of like, oh, okay, like that is something that's recommended, is like you figure out like what is your accountability. So what is Chad's accountability versus my accountability? How do we map that out so that way we have a clear understanding? And then how do we communicate that to our team? Because the team also needs to know, like, what does Liana do versus what does Chad do? Because if there's confusion, then there's no direction and there's no guidance. And then it's like, we're losing track of like what we're really doing here. So losing like traction. So having losing traction. So I think like having like that clear boundary was kind of a surprise. It wasn't just so like, we just do everything together. It's like, no, we actually had to figure out what makes more sense to separate.
How long have you guys been using EOS?
I'd say like about 2 years, but we're no way like an EOS expert or like we don't have an EOS implementer, but we try to keep up with it. I'd say at least quarterly for like the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think
you do, right?
Yeah. And I really wanted to stop and educate the listeners a little bit more on it because I'm such an advocate for it. And just like I say, there's a lot that we do for marketing that indirectly impacts your business and things like that in different ways. That's what ended up happening for me with EOS. So there were a few things. The first was that I was able to separate everything being what April wants to now it's a team and we get to decide together because you have a leadership team, right? With that, it really helped my team level up and have more ownership because of it. So it was a game changer for me. And even that simple accountability chart is super important. And recognizing, I mean, I don't know, I guess this is kind of part of EOS. They want you to, I don't know, but really understanding what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you like doing and what you hate doing, and delegating that to somebody else, you know? And I want to talk about the visionary implementer thing for a second or integrator thing for a second, because you probably naturally have something like that going on already without realizing it within your company. There's usually somebody that is doing back office stuff that you don't want to do. And then, you know, there's a front facing, usually it's the builder, right? That's doing sales and building relationships, maybe managing the projects and things like that. And as soon as you could recognize that you are not amazing over here and that this person is amazing over here, you're going to move forward so much quicker.
Yep.
And just the last thing I wanted to say with that. Oh, first of all, there's a book called What the Heck is EOS? You could probably just put it in ChatGPT and figure out what the heck we're talking about. But it's a really simple framework for running your business, which really takes the subjectivity out of a lot of things, even like the people on your team. It's like, are they right? Are they the right person for the seat? You know, do they want it? Did they get it? Do they have the capacity for it? Again, it takes subjectivity out of it. So it's a really good framework. I highly recommend checking it out. And we had Lynn Askin, who is an implementer, on the podcast. So check out, you know, our YouTube and podcast channels for that episode. But, you know, the visionary situation is interesting for me personally because, you know, it took me a while to really own that and be like, no, actually, like, this is something that's really unique that I have to offer that nobody else can do. And that is like having a vision for something. And it's this push and pull dynamic between the integrator and the visionary, right? Because if there isn't a visionary that's constantly wanting to push boundaries and like do the craziest things yesterday, you're never going to move forward. You're not going to be innovative. But then if you don't have an integrator that, can push back and be like, that is an awesome idea. Thank God we have you for your awesome ideas. We can't do that right now. We can't do it right now. We'll do it, we'll back burner it. Let's make sure we could get all this done first, right? Like, am I speaking your language? Yeah.
Every day. It's fun. But yes, every day. Every day we have a crazy idea.
Yeah, it's good. And so there's also a book called Rocket Fuel. And even if you aren't using EOS or you don't even know what we're talking about with visionary, and I mean, it's basically like CEO, COO, right? Like if you're going to use more traditional terms, it's just that EOS talks about accountability instead of org chart, which is important because a lot of us have overlapping roles and jobs that we do. But the Rocket Fuel book will really explain that dynamic in a way where it's healthy conflict that you have to have regularly. You got to be transparent. You got to be on the same page. You have to be able to say no a lot. I think in business in general, that's important. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, EOS tangent over. But obviously you can see I'm a big fan of it, and you guys obviously are too. So I recommend it. Okay, so this is really cute. Your ALOHA values are adaptability, learning, openness, high quality, and accountability. Right? Did I get that right? That's so cool. Okay, so can each of you guys share an example of a value that becomes especially important when a project gets complicated or a difficult conversation is required?
Sure.
I would say either like with your team or, a homeowner.
Okay. I definitely wanted to share a little bit more about the word ALOHA before we move too far forward. We definitely want to give the recognition to ALOHA and like how it actually is used. ALOHA is the core or the heartbeat of the culture here in Hawaii. We're not taking the word and just using it for its own purposes. Like we wanted to definitely give the credit and put a lot of that emphasis on the culture that surrounds the word ALOHA. That kind of translates through every aspect of the acronym. We wanted to just make sure that, everybody out there understands what ALOHA actually truly means. It just means to be with spirit. It means to have love and compassion and care and community, and like it's just to be good human beings, right? It's to say hi and goodbye, but I mean that's what a lot of people might think it is, but really in reality it's a way of life to live with ALOHA, and that's why our saying and a lot of our logos and everything, it's your build, our ALOHA. And that, with that said, if there's any questions you guys want to ask it on the podcast, go ahead. Adaptability is the first A in ALOHA, right? And without being adaptable, without being able to change your situation that you're confronted with, let's say the wrong fastener showed up to the job site, like what are we going to do? Adapt, right? You're not just going to, let's go home, we don't have the right screws. It's, hey, let's call like 20 different vendors and see how we can get like a comparable substitution, or find a way to get the screws in 2-day airmail from the States. Like being adaptable allows you to take a situation that's not going as planned to come out of your comfort zone and start to learn and create. So that leads to the next value. You're learning new avenues, you're learning new approaches. You can kind of dive into learning a little bit.
Oh yeah. So I think her question is like, how do our values help us in difficult situations? Yeah. Like difficult conversations with homeowners and team members. Like, let's say usually the difficult conversations with homeowners has to do with like unforeseens, right? Like something's going to cost you extra. So that's where being open, I think, becomes very important. Like we're working on a project now, they're demoing. And as soon as we find raw art deterioration that wasn't visible prior to starting the project, it wasn't accounted for, like we stop and we let the homeowner know. Like we believe that's part of us being open and being communicative. So we try to give them all of the options, try to just full disclosure, right? Like here's what we found. So it requires a lot of communication. And I think that's what open is really about. It's about having a lot of communication. So, and even like difficult conversations with team members, right? If there's something needed to work on, there's something that, you know, we feel like isn't quite meeting expectations, then like we'll sit down with them and we'll have open conversations. But that's two-way, right? And that's what we tell them is like, you know, of course we have feedback, but you're always going to have feedback for us too, which is probably harder, right? Because it's hard for people to tell a business owner what they want, but encouraging that culture of open communication and being accountable, right? That's kind of like the last A is super important too, because like we have to be accountable in order for them to feel open enough to talk to us. So acknowledging when we're in the wrong, like, oh yeah, we could have done that better. Like we could have done this better. We could have done every day. There's something we could have done better. We're learning, we're trying to be accountable. We're adapting to all the things. We're trying to learn along the way. Like our values really do drive everything that we're doing. And we hold ourselves accountable to those values in addition to the team. Even our clients, when we're looking at our clients, right? We want to make sure we're working with people who kind of are in line with those values. They're also open. Like Chad will ask the question, like, how are you feeling right now in your project? Like, are you feeling stress? Are you feeling pressure? Like, how do you feel about this final detail and how it turned out? Like he encourages them to be open, because if not, then right, the project, they're scared sometimes to tell you from past history or whatever. I remember actually having that conversation with the client where we did the final walkthrough, and I was like, she went through her punch list with Chad, and then
she was withholding,
and I looked at her and I was like, there's more. And she's like, no. I was like, no, I can tell there's more. And she's like, I'm scared. And I was like, listen, like, we really want you to be open with us. Like, you paid us to do this project. We can't be better. We can't train our team to be better. We can't service future clients and be better if you're not open with us. So like encouraging that conversation, I think really leads us to be able to have a higher level of quality and service. And so I'm really happy that she opened up, and she did. There was like 2 or 3 more things. It's pretty simple to address, but we were able to knock those off the list, and she was super happy at the end. So like, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no,
Maybe like 10 times.
I'm really inspired, and I'm going to make this one a requirement for my team to watch and listen to. You guys are amazing. I feel so bad though, because Be Nice Home Solutions replied back to the question and said, thank you. I'm also a deck builder on an island that's facing a housing crisis amongst locals. So any way we could help, we are into. I do want to talk. I've got some more questions that I think you're really going to be interested in. By the way, what's your name? Be Nice Home Solutions. I've seen you on the podcast before, but I cannot remember your name. So let me know. And then Heinz Outdoor Living gave us a wave. Cool. Okay, so when mainland deck builders picture Hawaii, they may think about the views. What are the real conditions, sun, rain, moisture, termites, salt exposure, terrain, and others that change how you evaluate a deck's long-term durability?
We live on an island. There's no local mill here. There's no like manufacturing of lumber here. Everything gets brought here. And it just depends on what storms are going on in the Pacific Ocean, or there's a few ways to get things here to the islands, but it all requires time and patience. And sometimes those costs can get obviously transferred over to the client, but you know, we always want to make sure that we're able to, communicate that to the client, say, hey, it's 6 to 8 weeks for this. It's like, you know, 3 to 4 weeks for this. So like in the States, I know I'm calling it in the States, but in the mainland, we call it the 48 continental U.S. states. Like there's borders, but then you can hop over to the next state to get something you need, or truck it over overnight, or it's like it just access is a lot easier. I feel like the reason why there's not such a huge supply here on the island is because education, like understanding like how to do it and where to get it from, like it's still kind of growing here. So and of course building with higher quality materials is a lot, it's greater because it has to travel over the ocean. So it just all comes down to education, as I mentioned earlier on, just educating our clients on like what are the good, better, bests. And, some of those are 316 gauge stainless steel fasteners for, everything, pretty much. And do you have input? I'm kind of going on a tangent.
I think anywhere you go, everybody wants to build with high quality materials, but like, especially here, like the weather is just non-forgiving, right? Like the salt air is everywhere. Like when you read sometimes like the specifications of like when to use stainless steel, it's like when you're within like 2 miles of a coastline, it's like everything here is within 2 miles of a coastline. Everything. So that means everything should be built with stainless steel. So that is our standard. And I don't know, like in the continental USA, like is that standard for everybody to build with stainless steel? But here we have to. So that is definitely like a change. Maybe that's different from where everybody else is building. And one of the things that we've been implementing quite a bit of is like OC lumber, right? So like lumber now, we all know that is like the growth rings are large. It's not as dense, like it's rotting faster. It's not the same as lumber as it was 30, 40 years ago. So like we're really trying to find a way to implement better building practices into our build, such as like using OC lumber. So like, of course, the pretty stuff, right? The deck boards and the railing, like there's kind of a lot of options, but when it comes to the substructure, like in Hawaii, like what really works, OC lumber. So we'd love to continue to push that as like our substructure material here. But right now we only have one supplier that provides it to us on island. They're called Rennell Wood Systems. So shout out to Jason and their team. But like, that's it. We have one supplier here. That's it. That's the only way to get it to Oahu. And I imagine in the mainland, there's like 20 people trying to sell it to you, right? Like we only have one guy, and we love working with them, but it creates a different challenge that I'm sure it's people who are building decks, in California or in Washington State or other parts of the United States, like just don't have to experience that, right? We have to be a little bit more like adaptable.
Hey,
as cheesy as it sounds.
Yeah.
Adaptable.
I love it. By the way, I hear somebody in the background, which is funny because your puppy.
Oh no, that's our neighbor's dog.
Okay.
No, we don't have,
at the same time. So I've got a new dachshund puppy. Well, it's supposed to be my daughter's puppy, but she just woke up in the cage here, and it was so funny because as soon as she started crying, I heard the dog.
A dog. Oh, so funny.
Our neighbor just got a new Doberman. So.
Yeah. I kind of zone it out. But it's funny because here, like, we actually are lucky, like, where we live. I feel like we have kind of like a larger property, which is nice, which I'm assuming to everybody over there, they'd be like, that's small. But, like, the houses here are so close together. Like, I mean, really close. Yeah. Like, all the lots are super small.
They're on, like, the maximum setbacks. So, like, if you have a 5-foot setback on the side and on the back, like, they build their house to that setback.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, if you ever want to nerd out, like, go to Google Maps and, like, start looking at the city of Honolulu and start looking at how close is the house are together, you realize, like, our decks are so much smaller.
Yeah.
When we get, like, a big deck opportunity, we're like, yeah, that's exciting. Most of them are small.
Wow. Okay, cool. Didn't know that. I've only been to Maui, so looks like I need to get over there and check it out.
Oahu, yeah.
Yeah, it's way more dense here. Yeah, way more dense in Oahu than Maui.
So Be Nice Home Solutions said his name is Hayward Gatch, which I don't even know what to do with that. I mean, come on, man. Like, what's going on here? Are you a singer-songwriter? I don't know what it is, but I've seen you here a few times. So, I mean, that's a pretty cool name, right?
It is.
It's a pretty cool
Hayward
name.
Gatch.
Where's he located?
Where are you located, man? Let us know.
He says he's on an island somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's possibly in Hawaii. I don't know. Name
No,
sounds
no,
familiar.
no, no,
Be
no,
Nice
no.
Home Solutions.
Yeah, I think
There's probably
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
That would make sense.
Well, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Do you know that we have islands?
Oh, houses on the islands, or
Weird, huh? Well, so Cleveland is right on Lake Erie, and to the northwest, there's a chain of islands, just a couple or whatnot. Called it's Put-in Bay is the big one. It's kind of like a party island, but yeah,
that's
we have
cool.
islands in Ohio.
There you go.
He said coastal Rhode Island, but mostly Block Island, Rhode Island. We've spoken online. Sweet. Cool. Cool,
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
And hey,
Just-
if anybody
just
is
for
listening,
reference, Chad doesn't actually have social media, so
Everybody,
forgot who it was the
let
other day.
everybody know.
I think somebody sent Chad a message like, "Hey, dude, you're doing a great job," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm actually a woman."
dude at
Dude, Ed.
But yeah, for anyone that's listening, if you want to be on the podcast, just go to welovedeckbuilders.com and you could apply to be on the podcast, or just hit me up on any of the socials. Would love to share your story. All right. Well, have we covered everything? We did, right? Because you kept saying, we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that. So I think we did. How about I'm interested in your team and your crew. So you're obviously all about education. Do you have any kind of notes on meaningful training for your team?
Yeah. For me, distinguishing how people learn from the very beginning, especially during the new hire, is like, are they more like on the ground learning, or are they more like, let's get in the textbook kind of learning, and how they implement those techniques or that knowledge that they've took on. So for us, like, we do a lot of like, education through the NADRA. I know that was, I think, one question on there too.
Mm-hmm.
How we utilize Decks Done Right, and
we just had 3 guys complete it. So we sent Adam, Felipe, and Louis, and they both passed they all 3 passed the exam. So like that was helpful, but just credit to them because they had to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to do that.
Yeah.
So they worked 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. to
Wow.
do the Decks Done Right. Yeah. So there's like multifaceted ways of doing education. I think for us, definitely like on the job matters the most. So we like encourage all of our site leads, like, hey, like make sure you're actually educating the helper.
Mm-hmm.
We ask the helper, okay, like, are you getting the support you need from your site leads?
Mm-hmm.
And it's 2-way, right? It's like, okay, helper or carpenter apprentice, you got to make sure you're asking the questions, and whoever's a site lead needs to make sure that they're answering the questions, and that we're creating a culture of learning.
Yeah.
We have our weekly Monday meetings. So every Monday at 7 a.m., everybody meets together and we talk about the week. And then we've implemented a learning session. So like every week there's a new learning session.
Mm-hmm.
So this last one was actually Felipe, Adam, and Louis talking about the Decks Done Right and what did they learn? What were some of the key areas that they felt like kind of surprised them or they weren't aware of? We've done things in the past before, like I think Adam did one on like how to like screw down tracks, or I know Kevin did one on like pocket hole jigs. Like we'll just do like, I think Noah did one before on like what are questions you would ask a homeowner in this situation who's doing a deck.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to do like our own internal training, utilize NADRA, utilize NAHB, utilize like other people who have put together all the time to put the training together,
Mm-hmm.
to send them to that. We're huge on learning. I would say like we're a very learning focused company, and we're always learning, like Chad and I, especially, like we're constantly trying to learn new things.
And it's part of the environment that the team's in. It's like more of like to harp like a nest for that learning atmosphere, right? So like, even though somebody might come in, they're completely green, like they've always find a place that's comfortable for them to grow within the company. Like it's like it's not like we just throw them in cold water and like just abuse them and like, you know, go carry all this like this lumber and this treks and all that up the hill here. It's really like, okay, like how can we utilize like a system to like, we help them think outside the box. Like how can we get this material out there quicker? Like how can we build efficiencies in this process? Like let's throw a couple more guys at it. It's easier. Like help them think about like, they don't have to do it all on their own. They can call upon their teammates and their site leads to kind of help work through it. So it creates that environment that they learn all together versus independently.
That's amazing. Yeah. We do and I just think that speaks a lot to passion too, and like caring about the craft. And guys, anyone listening, like you've got an obligation to give back, you know? I mean, with we got to get these, you know, youngsters into the trades. So, you know, it's your responsibility, you know?
Yeah. And one thing too, like we like to do a lot of is like speak at like local schools. So try to make a difference of, you know, like I went on a traditional college path, right? Chad also went to college, but like he ended up in the trade. So we try, but some of our guys, like they went to college and now they're in the trade. So we try to like also tell young people who are maybe like still in high school even, or even younger than that, that like, you know, yeah, you could go traditional college path, like if that's the right thing for you, but there's also like a lot of really smart people in the trades. And it's not just like, oh, I'm just doing labor and like, I'm just hammering things. There's a lot of, I think Noah before said something about like, you know, when you're working and you're doing something really skilled, you're using like your brain and your body at the same time. So like it takes a lot of like thought process, right? Where you're having to like be constantly thinking about the next 10 steps. So if you're going to do it right and you're going to be really skilled at it, it takes a lot of smarts, I guess, like that maybe the trades didn't get enough credit for, I think maybe 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah. And in Hawaii, I don't know if it's other states too, is that there's some people, or I wouldn't say all, but I'd say some of the students that graduate from high school, if they don't make it in college, they think of construction as like a fallback versus it being like construction should be like more emphasized as like a foundational career, like a structured system,
like a skilled trade
that
can
like
give you
it's
a
not
career
like
and a good pay.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like the dum-dums go to work in construction. Like that shouldn't be like the stereotype. Like I'm in construction because I couldn't pass college. It's like, no, dude, like you should be able to like treat construction and like the path of construction as like the mindset and the atmosphere and the culture of construction should be like, oh, I'm gonna go into construction, like versus it being like a fallback.
Have you guys ever listened to the Trades podcast?
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna introduce you to Jeff, and you guys should be on it because it's all about this, and I just feel like you guys would be really good at that. Yeah, I love it. This is so relative. I just went and visited my son's school right before this podcast because we enrolled him in a trade school, and I'm really impressed with it. And I think it's like he's gonna get out of it what he puts into it, you know. But it's really great because they'll guide you on different paths, and they give you like you have different. Like I went to a vocational school in high school for culinary arts, and so it was like for 2 years I did culinary arts. But there, you can try out different electives like manufacturing, engineering, automotive, graphic design, childcare, like all kinds of different things, so that the whole goal is that they could actually get a job within North County, San Diego here afterward. I was really impressed by it. So he got an A on his math test. I got to brag about, and it's because it's applicable. It was business math. He learned about net profits and margins, you know,
that's awesome.
And so he's a creative, you know, like he plays amazing guitar and skateboards and like very inquisitive, and he passed this math class. I was like, see, there's just some people think differently, you know, they're not academic. They think all the way through. And I think that's what's so cool about it is like, they'll teach him there how to, you know, make a product and market and sell it, you know, and
that's
so the
great.
whole, like the whole thing. So very excited. All right. Tangent over with the trades, but for anyone listening to the Trades podcast, it's really great. Jeff Mudd, he also helped coordinate the first ever NADRA SoCal regional event with me. He's the host, him and Danny, and they're doing really great things there. I had the pleasure of being on the podcast twice. The second time was their 200th episode, and it was featuring women. So,
Nice.
Liana, you got to check it out.
Cool. I will do that.
Okay, so for the deck builder listening who wants to act on this conversation right away, what is one practical thing they can do this week to improve durability, strengthen their crew's learning culture, or build more trust with the people around their business? What's just one takeaway you would give the audience here?
I would say like one key takeaway is definitely like focusing on giving back to your team. Whatever that is in terms of like learning, education, higher pay bonus, better benefits. Like we really can't do what we do if we don't have a good team. Like we're a high quality, high touch builder. And if we're not investing back into the people who are actually at the home doing the work, then we're failing, right? So like in order for us to be successful, or Hilweh Builders, Hawaii Deck Builders to be successful, we have to give back to the team. So like maybe taking that time to really step back and think about like, what can I do today to like make the lives of my team better? How do I take their best interest into my own best interests, and how do we all win? And like truly bring them into that, I think will like really bring more success for the business and for the people that you're working with. I think that's truly important.
That's another thing that I 100% agree on. Like we have a
Mic drop.
we have a responsibility in that aspect too, to help build better lives for our team.
Yeah.
And so I would say like not like you don't need to make the work enjoyable like it's a playland or anything, but make it meaningful and something that they're proud to do and enjoyable.
Yeah. And we try to like sometimes learning is uncomfortable, so stress is not always bad, right? And we try to harvest like a stressful environment, but only to encourage growth. Then in everything in life, there's always going to be stressful situations, and that kind of gives them like practice to deal with that too. Give them a safe place to work through some stressful situations, and they can apply that towards other things in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the second mic drop. Love it. Well, so actually, our rock star, Hayward Gatch, again, freaking love that name. That's so cool. He said 60% block island, 40% coast, but fluctuating seasonality. And we are team 316 stainless steel and OC lumber.
Awesome.
Good way to go.
Cool. Well, any other final words of wisdom? Again, thank you so much for your time. This has been really enlightening and I hope encouraging and inspirational for our listeners.
Get to know April. Like she's a really cool person. I talked to her quite a bit before this, just talk story, kind of work together. Like, I mean, 100%, like, I feel like she's awesome. Like you can tell she really loves what she does. So, if you haven't already, like connect with her, I think she'd be happy to have, like you said, either have you on the podcast or just talk about deck builder marketers. If it's the right fit. Like I love talking to you. I felt like last time I was like, I think we could be on the talk for like 2 hours. Like we gotta stop. Gotta get back to work. So like just create that connection. Like Hayward, like it's great that now you and April can create a connection. Right now she knows your name. Now you've watched us do our podcast. Maybe you're going to be on the podcast next, right? Like do that. Like create that connection. Take that leap. Build that community. Right? We can all work and help together. So. Get to know April. Go to her website. Help her SEO.
And to add my little cherry on the cake. Somebody told me a while back, going into business with your wife is like being in a one kayak with two people paddling the kayak with a little bit of waves, right? And finding the synchronization, finding the rhythm, and like working together. And they said if you can get in a kayak for an hour with your wife and then you don't get divorced after, like you're a good team. So I felt like when we stepped in our first kayak, she didn't paddle at all. So I just said, I'll just paddle. Just sit there, just try to balance. Like, I'll take care of everything else, you know?
I just got to look around.
So working with your partner, working with your significant other in business, I find to be the most valuable asset that anybody can have in a business. You just have to find a way to do it, whether that's reading a book, whether that's seeking out advice from others, working with other builders that do the same thing, creating a network of people that do the same thing and develop that relationship. So that's my little icing on the cake. Is the best thing that I feel like we did was just work better together on things. Yeah.
I love it. So connection is amazing. I want to talk about that a little bit.
cheesy.
Oh, you guys, they just did something
he's
super
the
cheesy, but it was so
cheesiest.
cute.
Got to show the heart.
Oh, they just put their little hands together and make a heart. It was awesome. So check out HawaiiDeckBuilders.com, and then the on socials, Hawaii Deck Builders. There's also Hilweh _Builders _LLC. And then email. Want to share email in case anybody wants to connect with you?
Yeah, you could just do the info at HawaiiDeckBuilders.com. It's a great way. Our website has all of our contact information as well. So it's a great way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And connect, right? Like, get out there. We're going to meet each other in person at Deck Expo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'll be there.
You guys make sure to go. Like, people always want to have an immediate return on their investment, but some of these things, like we were talking about with EOS, from my experience, they are indirect benefits, you know. And I think going to these events and speaking with like-minded people, you get to learn a lot, you know. Every time I go to an event, that's where I learn, is not people speaking or meeting with vendors or whatever, but you know, just having those conversations in between. You don't have to do this alone. And there's just so much.
Wasn't that your last was that your last podcast too? Like, you had us about like going and making connections and yeah.
Yep. We've got a lot of different podcasts. So if you're listening, make sure you go and check out all the old ones too. So, and then I'm going to be at Futurescape next week. So this is really stepping into the whole outdoor living aspect of building decks and bridging the gap with landscaping and things like that. So Futurescape, first time they did it was last year in the States. They are the ones that do Pro Landscaper magazine. And so anyway, this will be the second one here, and I'll be there. I'll be speaking on a panel, and then Deck Builder Marketers is going to have a booth there. So it's free. Cool. So go to futurescapeusa.com and register. And guys, thanks so much. It was really great to see you. Oh, I did want to say, your guys, you got to go give them some props and tell them April said, man, that's a lot of adulting for getting up at 3 a.m. and taking those classes.
I actually like woke up at 3 and texted them. I said, you guys awake? You know, just like Daddy Chad over here, and making sure they're waking up early. But they were all up, logged in, ready to go.
Yeah.
It's impressive, man. And I saw you had a pretty cool like mug there.
Oh, yes.
Tumbler or something. Oh, look at that.
Look
at that. Oh, look at that. We love Deck Builders.
And it's really hot right now, so this is like the perfect cup. So yeah, I would say this was like the swag for the Deck Builder Marketers podcast. Highly worth it. It's very, very effective. Thank you.
All right. Well, by the way, it's been really cool to hear all the birds chirping in the background.
Oh,
yeah, we got a lively neighborhood of birds that live around us, and you know, it's very tropical. You know, every time you call somebody on the phone somewhere in the island, you can almost tell where they're at, depending on like, oh, is that minor birds or is that like the Brazilian red-crested cardinals? Like, you can kind of like gauge.
Okay, so
that's what happens when you're 40. You start studying.
Well, you're in Cuneo.
These things happen. Yeah. Liana is the acronym specialist, and you are the bird specialist, right? You guys are,
That's next. The local bird podcast we're on.
It's like you bend down and you make a sound, and it's like it doesn't even hurt. It's just it's just what you do now. You make a moaning grunt sound now. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Check it out when you bend over next time. You're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it. All right, guys. Enough old people talk. Great to have you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see you guys in person. So virtual hug for now, in-person hug soon.
All right. Cool. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you,
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Aloha.
Oh, Deck Expo is a great time. See you guys there. Says
Yep.
Heinz Outdoor Living. Thanks so much for being here. All right. We
All right.
are
See ya.
out.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, deck building community. Enjoyed the show? Hit subscribe and give us your thoughts. We love hearing from you. Ready to level up your business? Visit deckbuildermarketers.com. Check out our services and let's build your success together. Don't forget to download our free guides. They're a game changer. Thanks for tuning in to We Love Deck Builders and see you on the next episode.